Hi everyone, my name is Rachel and welcome to the French Seams. Thanks very much for joining me again for another video. This is a Friday Sews video, so as always a huge thank you to Jen from Today and Jen Sewing Room for setting up this fabulous hashtag. So I didn't come to you last week with a Friday Sews. I put out a bumper winter and spring makes video instead, which I'll link in the description box below if you want to go over and take a look at that. So it's actually been 2 weeks since I've done a Friday Sews and I have an awful lot to catch you up on. So as always, a huge thank you to anybody who's watched any of my previous videos, anybody who's left a like, left a comment. Thank you very, very much. I do really appreciate it. If you are new to my channel, then you're very, very welcome. And if you're a regular viewer or subscriber, then welcome back. So as I say, it's been 2 weeks since my last Friday Sews, and it might be very, very obvious one of the things that I got finally made up, and that is my new Pogonip. So I cut this out a good few weeks ago, and it's actually a fleece from Penny's Primark, and it costs €7, and I think it was €7 for about 2 meters of this really fun heart fleece. And I decided I wanted to make a Pogonip, and I'm really glad I did because it's still very much Pogonip weather outside in Dublin, and I think it's a really, really fun make, and I'm really glad I've got it made up because the fabric was horrible to sew with. It fluffed everywhere, and I was just glad to get it made up and all the edges overlocked. So here's the Pogonip. If you're not familiar with it, this is a Friday pattern company that was released late last year. I'll link below where I did a collaboration on this sweatshirt with the lovely Sarah from Sew Sarah Style. So this is actually my third one. So I did a toile in a daisy fleece, and then I did my real one in a zebra, and I've got this heart one. I think it came out quite well. So if I come up and show you, it's got the elastic and then it's got the welt pockets. I've got it on with ready to wear trousers that I've just bought. I find it so difficult to buy trousers. I'm 5'9". They say long leg, they're never long leg. I really don't like high-waisted trousers, so I'm trying out this style, which is elasticated waist, elasticated cuff, kind of woven joggers, and I'm really, really liking them. So I now think I'm going to make the Helen's Closet Arden pants, which are very, very similar. So I'm enjoying wearing these. That was a bit of fun. So it was purely because I couldn't find any jeans, and I just bought these. Said, right, I need trousers of some description. Let's try these out. And now it's given me a whole new inspirational idea for trousers, so I'm delighted. But anyway, back to the Pogonip. So I made it in this fleece fabric, and when I had this cut up, I was talking to the lovely Angela from Frocktails, and she said, oh, why don't you put a little crochet heart in one of the hearts, which I thought was the cutest idea. So I've done that too. I actually managed the pattern placement to have a little heart here, which I was very pleased with. So I've put one of my little crochet hearts here, and I've done heart snaps down the front as well. A few people asked about the snaps that I use, and I use the Prim, they're just plastic ones, and I use these pliers. They're called the Vario pliers. I'll link them below. I think they're absolutely brilliant. I don't get on with hammering on snaps at all, but I think these pliers are fabulous, and they come in really pretty colours. So I'll link them below. I think I got these from Quilt Yarn Stitch, and all the snaps come in really fun colours, and I just love that these are hearts as well. I think it matches really, really well. So very happy with this little Pogonip fleece, and it's out of my WIP pile, my work in progress pile, which I really, really don't like having, along with the stash, so I'm delighted. So that was what I got made up this week. Very, very happy. Excuse me, need to take off. So if you've been following along with my channel, then you know that I've been doing a adult education class. It's called Beginner Patchwork, and it was 10 weeks long, but it's actually been 13 weeks elapsed because of all the bank holidays. And we were making a sampler quilt, and I absolutely loved the class. I really, really loved it. And it was our last class 2 weeks ago. Mr. French Seams was traveling, so my mum very kindly traveled up. She lives about 2.5, 3 hours away to babysit my 2 little boys while I could go to my class, which was just wonderful. I'm so grateful, and it's a good job. She loves patchwork too, and she came to me in my hour of need. So that was the last class. Then since then, there's been a kind of splinter group. So about 4 or 5 of us from the class have decided that we're not quite ready to finish patchwork because the intermediate class, which I would love to do, doesn't start, I think, until the autumn term. So I'm very keen to get onto that class, but apparently it's really difficult to get onto, so fingers crossed. So a few of us has set up a little kind of splinter group. I'm calling it a little quilting bee. And we're now meeting still on a Monday. And we found this little venue. It's a kind of I don't even know what you call it. It's a kind of little fabric-y shop kind of place, but all of us meet there, and it's got big, huge tables. It's got everything we need. It's absolutely brilliant. So I went to that last week as well and finished off my quilt. So would you like to see it? So here is my finished quilt. I won't be able to hold up the whole thing for you, but I assure you it is now done. I've quilted it. I did some free motion. I did some just straight lines. So Izzy from Dizzy Quilts and Sews, her Quilt As You Go block has been series has been brilliant for this because it gave me inspirational ideas. So I did little wavy lines here like she asked on one of her blocks. So, and it's all my little sampler bits, and I've got my little hexies here and everything, and then I've bound it. I even hand stitched my binding down, thank you very much. And then it's just backed in this blue fabric, and you can see there on the back that I attempted to do little hearts and stuff there in the back. I'm not quite sure, can you see? But I am so pleased with this. I was tucked up under it now watching TV this week, and I just loved it, and I'm so pleased, and I'm so delighted with the class. Really, really loved it. I just think going to an in-person class, that there's no substitute really. So this all leads me to starting a very, very exciting project next week, and that is this. This is a box that was very kindly given to me at Christmas by Anne-Marie from the Crafty Studio. So she does a monthly subscription. It's called the Patchwork Parcel. I'll link it below, where every month you get delivery of a box, and it's a quilting pattern and the fabric you need and everything. It's wonderful. And I got this one at Christmas, and I was really keen to get it started. And it is called the Gift Wrap Quilt. So I would love to get this made up. I think it's so pretty. So all the fabric is here. It's absolutely beautiful. It's Christmassy fabric, obviously. So it's those kind of tones. Isn't that gorgeous? But I would love to get it started because quilts take a long time. And so I've got my first block cut out. So here are all the pieces I need for my first block, and I'm going to try and start that on Monday. So I'll keep you posted on my Christmas quilt. So what are we, end of April? Yeah, I should have that done by Christmas, surely. So very excited about getting that started. So thanks again, Anne-Marie, for that. It's so much fun. So that's my little patchwork update. The next thing I got done was my Frocktails toile, and I was just so happy to get this done. I just wanted the toile done. I wanted to see the lay of the land, see what adjustments I needed to make, because now Frocktails is the 11th of May, so not that far away. So Frocktails this year is in Galway, and it's people who love sewing all gather and maybe have a little cocktail, show off your little new dress or whatever me-made item you'd like to wear, or you can wear it ready to wear. That's absolutely fine. So I really wanted to make the Mary dress from Pattern Society. So I started making a toile, and it's gone pretty well. So I made a toile, and I made the size small, and that fit my waist and my hips just, but it didn't fit my bust. It was too big. So and it was by the pattern measurements as well. I'm not quite sure why I made a straight size small. So I then made a second toile, and I went down to an extra small on the bust, which I'm never usually an extra small, but I suppose yes, extra small on the bust. Okay, fine. So I made up a second toile, and it fits so well. I'm so pleased. So this is the dress. It's in just little kind of a calico fabric that I want to test it out on. So I've just pinned the side seams. I did have the invisible zip in there, but I've now taken that back off because I only had one invisible zip. So it's an asymmetric top, so it's got one shoulder. I've decided I did the one shoulder on both sides with each toile to see which side I preferred it, and I prefer it on the left. So I didn't have to adjust the waist at all. That sits in the perfect position. So it's got 8 darts in this dress, and I'm not that keen on darts, but we'll soldier through. So, and then it's quite fitted through the seat, and then it's got a little split at the back, and I just think it's really, really pretty, and hopefully it'll work out now in the real fabric. So you can see here the bodice and the one shoulder. So that's my little toile. All I want to do now is practice lining the bodice. So fingers crossed that works out. And if you haven't seen it before, here is the fabric that I would like to make it up in this beautiful green taffeta from the fabric counter. So I think that'll work quite nicely. Hopefully it'll hold the darts as well. And then hopefully, all going well, I'll add on a few little embellishments with this fabulous fabric. And during the week, I managed to find some black interfacing. So I just need to interface the back of those sequins to give it a bit more structure. So fingers crossed, that'll be on the way again this week, and I'll keep going at that and hopefully get the real version started. On the subject of Frocktails, very exciting news about next Saturday, or the Saturday after next, the 27th of April. I'm going to be a guest on the Crafty Studio YouTube channel. So very excited. So I'll link Anne-Marie's channel below. So the same Anne-Marie of the Patchwork Parcel. So the two of us, including two other lovely ladies, Anna and Deirdre, were involved in hosting Dublin Frocktails last year. And Anne-Marie had a brilliant idea of us doing a kind of a YouTube live where we discuss Frocktails, maybe what we wore last year. So I'll show the dress that I wore in Dublin last year. I might even show the dress that I wore in Belfast the year before that. And just discuss all things Frocktails. So I would love it if you joined us. I'll pop in the time below because I've forgotten, is it 7 or 8 on the Saturday night? And please, I'd love it if you joined us, ask a few questions. I would love to see you all there. So it's very, very exciting. I've never done a YouTube live before, so yeah, really excited about that. And talking about Frocktails and sewing. And also it's in her fabric shop, so I'm sure I won't come out of there without a little cheeky purchase anyway. So I'll keep you posted on that, and keep an eye on my Instagram because I'll be putting up reminders next week on that as well. So that is a little Frocktails update. So that was my my patchwork and my Frocktails. And then I decided to get on to some garment sewing. And this is where it all went a little bit awry. So I've been having a pretty good run of things recently, sewing wise. You know, things have been working, things have been fitting, I've been enjoying it, I've been liking my makes. No, it's all gone wrong. So anyway, I'll give you a little update, and I am going to be very, very honest about things in this vlog because I never want to lead you astray. And if I find things tricky, or if I find things that I don't like, or find things that I could have done a better way, I'm just going to tell you. And I hope you do appreciate the honesty there, because if I say that I've made a pattern, I'm not going to say it was wonderful and it was brilliant, because then you'll go away and make it, and yeah, you'll get halfway through and realise. So I will be entirely honest. So I am pretty much finished my Sew April blouse make. And here it is. I'm just waiting for buttons because the Irish Postal Service, that's a story for another day. So I'm still waiting for buttons. Hopefully they get here soon before the end of April. So this is my Sew April blouse 24 blouse. Sorry, I have such a tickle in my throat today. So this is my Sew April blouse. It's the Adela blouse by Barra Studio, and Sew April blouse 24, if you're not familiar, is hosted over on Instagram by Ruan, the Yorkshire Sew Girl, and Gabrielle from the Cloth Edit, and it's basically sew a blouse in April. And I also have a vlog all about my inspiration and this pattern as well, so I'll link that again below. This is the blouse. It's really, really pretty, little frill at the shoulder and kind of a small little collar, and in this unbelievable fabric, which I love. I got it at the Stitch Festival from Sew Me Something from the lovely Emma, and it was a dream to work with. I absolutely love the blouse. Yes, still waiting for the buttons. I will make this again now that I know what to do. So I'll go back and tell you a bit about the instructions and the pattern, but just bear in mind, I do love it and I do love how it came out, but it was a journey, okay? So to start off with, on the pattern piece of the collar, it says, what does it say? So it says cut one fabric on the fold. So it just says one, by the way, okay? So it says cut one piece here on the fold. So I know you need 2 collar pieces, so I disregarded that and cut just 2 pieces straight. But then on the pattern layout, it has you very clearly cut 2 on the fold here, but one is bigger than the other. And this one, they folded in half, but one is clearly not in the fold either. So that didn't set me on a very, very convinced path of this pattern. But anyway, I sewed it on, cut 2, not in the fold, because I've made collars before and that's how you usually do it. That was all fine. Construction wise, then it was okay. The other thing that I noticed was when you're doing the little ruffle, which is gorgeous, they have you overlock the other side of the ruffle. But then once you attach the ruffle to the side of the garment, you have to overlock it again. So I've now effectively overlocked this piece of the ruffle twice. So I don't think you need to do that because you're going to overlock the whole thing anyway, right? Okay. Then the inside, I'll take out that pin, the inside here of the placket. So it just has you overlock down here and then fold it under to make the placket, which is fine. I think it would have been nicer if you just folded that in, and I should have really tweaked again when I was doing it, fold that in again so then you don't have this raw edge on the inside, but that's just personal preference. So there were fun, a few kind of strange things, although to be fair, the ruffle and everything went in absolutely fine, awful lot of gathering, but that was fine. Then it's got this nice kind of side panel, which is under the arm. It's a little bit low. If I made it again, I'd raise it ever so slightly, but that's nothing to do with the pattern. This bit under the arm, they just have you overlock and turn under again. That might be nice to kind of bind it. Maybe I might do that the next time. Again, personal preference. One thing I will say about this actually is the fit is fabulous. I made oh dear, it's gone for me. What size did I make? I'll pop it across here. I've forgotten what size I make, and I made no adjustments, and I think the sizing is spot on. So I will give it that plus. So anyway, let's continue. Hi everyone, Editing Rachel here. Look what just arrived. My gorgeous buttons. They're from Jazz and a Wow, the lovely Becky. She's here on YouTube as What Beck Sews. Becky, these are absolutely gorgeous. Look at them, the red and the pink, and they just perfect. Look how beautifully they'll go with my blouse. So excited these arrived. Can't wait to get them sewn on and have the reveal of my beautiful blouse. Thank you so much. Yay! So one thing as well about the ruffle, when you're attaching the ruffle, obviously you have to do it right sides together with the front of the blouse, which is fine. But on the instructions, this is the white, which is the right side, but that's clearly a seam there in the dark grey colour. So it looks like you're attaching the right side of the ruffle to the wrong side of the blouse. So again, I disregarded that. And then the last thing then was the collar. So it's got this lovely little stand-up collar. So it's not a two-piece collar in that you've got it's just a stand, so it's not the full collar. And it has you, literally, I don't know, did they just run out of steam towards the end of the instructions? Because literally you attach it to the top of the shirt, which is fine, and then you just sew it. And then it says seam which basically they mean hem, so they don't mean seam at all, and they just said press seam under twice, fine. So they just ran out of steam entirely, just sew on the collar and hem it. But that leaves an entirely raw edge along the inside of the garment, which is very, very strange as well. And I know in all the styling pictures, they've got the collar done up, so maybe they think you mightn't notice. But if you have it open in any way, you're going to see a raw edge there. They don't even say finish it. So usually, in my experience, with a collar stand, you'd fold under one side, you'd press it, then sew on the other side, then fold it over, and then stitch in the ditch or something to catch it on the inside to make it nice and neat. But nope, not in this. So what did I do? I bound it. So I found this gorgeous bias binding that I got from the Specky seamstress recently at Stitch Festival, and I just bound the edges to hide all the raw edges, and I think that makes it look quite nice, because when you're wearing it, of course, it's going to be open like that. I'm not going to have it buttoned up the whole way the whole time, so if it's going to be open like this, which is why I don't really like that overlocked edge there, but at least now there's no raw edge on the inside. So very, very strange. So again, if I made it again, which I probably will because it's really, really pretty, I'd make the exact same size. It's perfect. I wouldn't overlock the ruffle. I'd turn in the placket and I'd bind the neckline. And I think all would be well. But anyway, I do love how it came out eventually. It was a journey. I'll definitely give you that, but I do love it. Not sure I'd make any Barra Studio patterns in the future given this experience, but it's really pretty and I do love how it came out, and I think it looks really cute with a pair of jeans. And hopefully when my buttons arrive, I'll be able to take pictures and enter it into the challenge. So anyway, long story. There you go. There's my story about that. So after that, I said, oh, I'd love to make something new now as well. I'm in the mood for making something lovely and being able to wear it straight away. So I made the high cuff sweater. And here it is. So the high cuff sweater is a woven sweatshirt basically. And here's mine. I got this beautiful fabric from the Stitch Festival. So it's beautifully done, lovely jersey neckband, jersey cuffs, everything. I even bound the neckline. I even put a little label at the bottom. It's a Sarah Hart's one that I got from Sittam Taka that says made by me. Love it. You notice anything? That's right. It does not have a hemband, and I will show you that. So this is the hemband. This top is miles too small for me. So to start off with, the high cuff sweater, I really wanted to make it. I really wanted to get a fit that was good because I think it's really handy for using up woven fabrics with jersey. I really, really like the look of it. The PDF pattern is €19, which I thought was a bit steep per PDF pattern, but anyway. So I fell into, so on the sizing, they have bands, which I don't particularly like in sizing anyway. I prefer kind of, you know, one measurement and then one size, one measurement, one size. But this was kind of a large band. And I was, for bust, waist and hips, I was on the very, very smallest end of a medium. And from what I had read, it came out quite big. So I said, oh, I'll size down to a small. Again, I don't know why I decided to size down to a small, and I will take responsibility for that. But sewed it all up, absolutely loved it. The waistband is very strange because it's got this kind of curve at the back, and then it's, I had tubular ribbing, which was very, very narrow, so I had to split the waistband, and I decided to split at the back, and it gave you instructions when I looked back again of how to split the waistband, but very, very strange construction. Oh, also on the back pattern piece of the high cuff sweater, it says in the instructions, if you're making a extra small and a small, cut the back on the fold, and if you're making a medium and large, cut it in 2 pieces. I only realised that when I was skimming the instructions, because I knew how to make it. I didn't really look at the instructions. And then I noticed that, I was like, should I have cut this in 2 pieces? But I shouldn't have because I made a small. But it doesn't tell you that on the pattern piece. It just says cut 2, which again, I think I disregarded because I just assumed you'd cut the back and the fold. So yeah, it's been a week. It really has. So I'm glad I got away with that because I should have cut on the fold, which I did. But now because I want to make this again, and definitely in a medium, I then have to cut the back in 2 pieces. Which is a bit strange, but anyway, because they're just straight anyway, so it's not like it gives any kind of shaping. Anyway, so this is making a short story very, very long. I do apologise. And if you have made the high cuff sweater and you love it, you can just tune out of this. So this is the waistband. It came out way too small, like really, really tight. He's coughing again. It came out really, really tight. The top is really, really short, despite the fact I did add on an inch to the bodice and the arms. It's still very, very short. So I put it on as like, this is not comfortable at all. The neckline is a little bit tight, but I could probably get away with it. But this is just way too small. So in the end, I took off the waistband and then I basically just kept adding bits to it. So I've added this section and this section. So I've added this much to it on this side. And then I added this much to it on the back of it. I now know why they have you cut this in one piece, because if that's the back waistband could end up on your back and you don't want to seam, so lesson learned. And then on this side I added on this chunk. So I added on a sizable amount to the waistband and now I can just about get away with it. But I don't have any jersey ribbing left. So I've ordered some more and I'm going to use this as a template of my new waistband and sew it back on. And I think I still can wear it. Sorry, my hair is being funny. I think I still can wear it, but it's a little bit small. But I would like to make it again and get this fit really nice because I do love the look of it. So I do have this bit of fabric that I've had for ages. I made a top out of this years ago and I had this big chunk left over. I never actually liked the top I made, but never mind. So this, I couldn't tell you where I got it. It was years ago when I just started sewing, so I think it's really pretty. And then I ordered some ribbing to go with it. And this is a much wider piece of fabric. So this is the width of the tube. So I got this from Ecobee. So it gives you a sizable chunk, so I'll be able to cut this out properly on the fold, the waistband, and I think those go together very, very nicely. So I do want to try it again. I will not be defeated by this pattern, so I'm going to make a medium. I'm going to add 1.5 inches to the sleeves, 1.5 inches to the bodice, increase the waistband, and I'll see how I go because, yeah, I really want to get this working. So hopefully I'll come back to you next week with a successful high cuff or 2. But yeah, so that was my week. So after 2 disastrous makes, literally just sat back and just reevaluated everything. You know, you just go into a bit of a slump. You're like, oh, this is terrible and I can't do anything. And because my sewing room is in a heap and it's really difficult to sew, I was just feeling so deflated. I really, really was. And I was kind of lolloping about for a while and I was like, I really, really wanted to make something. So I was thinking, what can I make that's a quick make, that I have the stuff made, have the fabric, that I'll have success with. Enter So Let's Sparkle with Sam. So she had put out in her So Frugal about robe patterns. So I decided to make the fleur robe from Mood Fabrics. And where's it gone? It's down here. So, and I love it. It came out brilliantly. So thank you so much, Sam, for this recommendation. So the fleur robe is from Mood Fabrics. It's a free pattern. The PDF is quite enormous because it's a very, very large garment, but there's one pattern piece for the front and back, which does help. So I had 2 meters of this very strange jersey fabric that I got from the fabric outlet last summer, and it's really, really stretchy. I didn't know what to do with it and it's quite see-through, but I thought it would make the perfect robe and I love it. So I made a size 12 to 14, which is on the pattern piece, and it just fits perfectly. I didn't have enough fabric to make the waist tie, so what I did was, the lovely Anne, when she sent her lovely parcel to me, included a bit of ribbon, so I just tied on a few little bits of ribbon to the inside, and so I tie it on the inside and then I tie it on the front, and so it's just a little piece of ribbon. But this is perfect because in the mornings I get up before everybody else and come down, make a cup of tea, make the lunches, lay out the breakfast, do the dishwasher, all that kind of carry on. And now if I'm swanning around in my lovely robe, I just love it. So I didn't make any alterations to the pattern. One thing I did do, I removed about 2 inches from the sleeves, and because when I'm wearing this, I'm generally at the kitchen sink, I added elastic cuff to it, and it gives a really nice finish to the bottom, so I feel super elegant. So I love this fabric in the way it's kind of different colours. So the sleeves ended up being white, then the front are the kind of bluey fabric, and then the back is white again, so I think it gives a really, really nice effect. So yeah, it's a fabulous pattern. I'm not doing it justice here, just showing it to you like this, but you can imagine what a dressing gown looks like. The neckband went in brilliantly. It was tricky enough fabric to sew with just because it's so bouncy and lightweight, but absolutely love how it came out. So after this, I needed this win. I really, really needed it. I was just so delighted. It ended my week on a high, thank goodness, because after those 2 tops, I was just going to give up entirely, just throw the sewing machine out the window, but I'm glad I didn't, and that's a ridiculous thing to say. So that was what I've been getting up to for the past 2 weeks. So it was a bit different to my usual style in that I had 2 patterns that I had an awful lot to tell you about. But anyway, I hope you took something away. If you've made either of those patterns, please let me know how you got on in the comment box below. I would really, really love to hear about it. So aside from that, I had a lovely chat this week with a lovely, lovely sewing vlogger about our collaboration, which is going to be coming out in the next maybe 2-3 weeks that I'm very excited about. So more on that when you see it, but very, very excited about that. This coming weekend, we are going away for the weekend. We've got a family birthday, so I'm going to be celebrating that. So I can't wait to see all my family, which is going to be brilliant. Also, when I'm away, I'm going to be quite close to the fabric outlet, and I need to pop in and buy some curtain fabric because if you've been following my channel, we've got some home improvements done and I need to make curtains. So I'm looking for a kind of a mustardy fabric to go with a very, very dark navy wool. So I'm hoping to find that. The fabric outlet is fabulous. All their fabric is a £5 a metre. So I don't mind making curtains. I've made curtains for the room we're in now. I've made curtains for our hall, and I follow along. I bought the class a good few years ago, during COVID actually, from the Stitch Sisters and how to make your own curtains, and I use it all the time. It's fabulous. I'll link it below. So I'm going to be making curtains, but that'll take obviously a few weeks, but I'm hoping they end up looking pretty nice. It is great. I think curtains are one thing that if you sew yourself you can really save money on, because to buy made to measure curtains are expensive. So that's what I'm going to be doing as well. Next week I'm going to be going to my quilting bee. I'm going to get started on my patchwork. I really want to get started on my cuddle cardigan and hopefully have success with that. I hope so. Sarah's beautiful fabric is ready to go. The pattern is cut out. Sarah from Sew Sarah Style very kindly gifted me some beautiful fabric for that. I'm also getting my hair done this weekend, which I'm very excited about because it is overdue a good spruce up, so very excited about that. So that's about it. So thank you so much for sticking with me. I think this is going to be a bit of a longer video than usual. I do apologise for that. Thank you for sticking with me to the end of it. I'd love to know what you're working on, whether you've had some successes, whether you've had some fails, whether you're able to bounce back after a fail, or whether it took a day or two like it did with me. I hope you're all well. I hope you're all having a lovely week, a lovely weekend. I hope you get time for some lovely, lovely sewing. If you enjoyed this video, it's not always as down the dumps, I promise. If you enjoyed it, please give it a thumbs up, and I would love it if you would consider subscribing to my channel and have you along on my sewing journey. As always, I'd love it if you left a comment below. You know how much I love having the chats. I will leave it there, and I will talk to you all again very, very soon in another video. Take care, everyone. Bye.